Hey y'all, it's Kirsten with the Wooden Butterfly, where we're all about the transformation. And today I'm going to share with you 10 ways that you can make money painting furniture. So this is episode 3 of the behind the scenes or the business side of painting furniture, if you will. I'm going to share with you 10 ways that you can make money in 2024. So follow along because there might be one or two or, well, all 10 ways that might work for you. So there are many ways of making money by painting furniture, but I have 10 here that I think would work best in 2024. And I'm going to give you some pros and cons to each revenue stream so that you can kind of weigh out which way you think would actually work for you and your lifestyle. So the first way is flipping. And what flipping actually means is you're going to buy a used piece of furniture. You can flip anything, but in this particular case, we're talking about furniture. You're going to buy a used piece of furniture. You're going to either paint it, you're going to strip it down and restore it, or you may even just have to clean it and then sell it for a profit. And that's what actual flipping means. And that is honestly the best way to get started because it's minimal expenses up front. It's just the cost of the furniture that you are purchasing. And sometimes, like I explained last week, is that you can find things in your own home. There might be things, alongside the road. There might be things, in grandma's basement. There might be things in mom's attic or garage that you can kind of start with and start the process. Now, what that entails is you would be working out of a home, so you'd need to find a space dedicated inside your home. So that's good and bad because you don't have to leave, but then you have everything in your home. Would it most likely be selling on things like Facebook Marketplace or Nextdoor, or does anyone use Craigslist anymore? I don't think they really do. But sites like that would be local to your area, to where people could come and pick up the furniture or you could deliver them. You also could sell those pieces once you get your social media following built up, that sometimes people will actually purchase things from you posting them on your social media pages. If they're following you through the process, then they get excited about it and they think, wow, that's something I just have to have. I kind of gave you pros and cons in a mix of all of that, but let's break that down a little bit. So the pros are you don't have to leave home. It's minimal expenses up front and great way to start in the business. Now, some of the cons are, 1, you're going to have some furniture in your house. 2 is that you're going to have to deal with some of that haggling on Facebook Marketplace. The other con would be there's only so much time that you can put into a piece where you could actually start making a profit. Sometimes on those sites, on Facebook Marketplace and things like that, you're not going to get top dollar. You're going to get what the market will give you for a used piece of furniture. And by the time you get done restoring it, it's actually worth probably a whole lot more, but you can't necessarily get on those types of sites. So that's one revenue stream. As you notice, I didn't necessarily mention anything online because I feel that the online space of selling furniture is a completely different revenue stream. You have to have 2 totally different skills to be able to sell furniture on either place. But I'll get to that in just a second. So the second way of making money at painting furniture is by doing custom work on other people's furniture. What happens is they will bring you their piece of furniture and they will tell you how they want it painted. You'll have a consultation with them to narrow down what colors they want, where the piece is going to be used, how it's going to be used, and make sure you have a contract, of course, to tell them the estimated of what to expect when the piece is done, whether or not you're going to deliver it, whether or not it's what color it's going to be painted, what type of sealer is going to be on it, or what type of paint you're going to be using, or what type of restoration you will be doing. Be very detailed with this process so the customer has the expectations clearly so that they know the time frame that it's going to take for you to do this type of work. One of the great pros is that there's no guesswork. You don't have to guess what type of piece of furniture someone wants. You don't have to guess on what color someone might want. You don't have to, everything is kind of laid out for you. The other thing is that your expenses for this type of work is fairly low. The only thing you'll be coming out of pocket with is your materials. So you're not having to source the piece of furniture. You're not having to pay for the furniture or pick it up or, schedule time to meet with someone off a marketplace. Any of that, it's already all there ready for you to go. Now, with that being said, you are probably going to paint a lot of white. You're probably going to do a lot of white, a lot of black. You're probably your creativity is going to be hindered a little bit. If you've really built your brand up to specialize in color or special techniques, then you may get jobs to do that. But for the most part, most of your work that's going to come in, most people are going to want white. They're going to want black, a few navies in there, a few greens in there every once in a while. But for the most part, your creativity could be hindered in some ways. The other thing is the liability you're going to take. Having someone else's furniture in your home. If something happens to that piece of furniture, then you are liable for that. But that's your contract. Make sure you put something in the contract that states that you wouldn't be liable for it. Also, most of the custom clients that I had over the 10-year span that I've been painting furniture, most of them wanted their pieces picked up and delivered. Most people don't have access to a truck or someone to help move the pieces. So it's a really good idea to have something that you can pick pieces up with and you can deliver pieces with, and also the muscle to be able to help you do that, because you're not going to be able to do it on your own. So the third way to make money painting furniture is by having your own booth space in, say, an antique mall or a consignment store or a vintage market, something of that nature. Now, you will have much greater access to more customers. You'll have more exposure to show your skills and your talent. You can create and build your brand by, your unique finishes or your unique colors or whatever makes you special. If you really specialize in doing great bases on furniture, or you really specialize in, say, a French country that's really not popular anymore, but say a mid-century modern theme, then you can really specialize in that and hone that in that booth space. Now, when you have that booth space, there's going to be lapses between pieces of furniture that sell, because you may not have the right piece in the right color and the right size that someone with the right person coming in to buy it. So just know that some months you might do better than others. There is a cycle in the furniture selling industry, and there are going to be slow times. When it's back to school time, there's a little dip. When it's summer, there's a little dip. Depending on your area as well, will dictate those dips as well. If your antique mall gets a lot of foot traffic in the summer, say if you're in some of the northern areas in the winter, you probably don't get as much foot traffic as you would in the summer. So what you have to do is you have to have things in your booth that will sell between pieces of furniture. So that means smaller home decor. That means I had a paint line that I would sell. I had candles sometimes that I would sell. Just other small vintage items. Those are going to help you to pay the rent in the off months. That is a wonderful pro, because it, exposes you to a whole new side of the industry, but it's also a con because it's taking you away from doing what you really want to do, which is painting the furniture. The other con is the overhead cost. You're going to have to pay booth space. You're going to have to pay, usually it's a price per square foot, as well as a commission on top of that. So you have to keep that in mind, that the cost of your furniture has got to make up your booth space rent. You also have only a certain amount of square footage, so you have to make sure every piece of that square footage is making money for you. If there's any dead space, you need to move things around, you need to do certain things just to keep it going. That's another con. You have to go in regularly and you have to move things around. You have to make things look fresh and new and exciting. You have to, even if you have to take some pieces home and bring some pieces in and switch things out, as long as it looks fresh and new each. I used to go in weekly because I felt that really gave me the best time. If I went 2-3 weeks, your booth space kind of gets a little stale, as well as things could get damaged. So that's another reason to going in regularly, so that you can notice things getting out of place, or someone scratching the top of your piece of furniture, or things coming in from other booth spaces. Your booth owner or your booth manager is just not, your mall manager, I should say, is not going to have time to sit there and watch each individual person in each individual booth in most of these malls. Yes, they have cameras, but things happen. That's all I could say, is things just happen sometimes. The other con that I found is that there was a lack of customer interaction. Yes, when I went in weekly, if someone came in, I was able to talk to them, but not being able to talk about the piece. A lot of people want to know the history behind, that type of furniture, or they want to know, where I found it, or they want to know the finish that I used on it. And not having that personal interaction with customers sometimes was a hindrance. The fourth way that you can make painting furniture is by retail space, which goes hand in hand with booth space. It's very similar, except that you are now in charge of the whole space and all of the expenses. So that's one big con, because retail space is expensive. The pro is that, one, you get to learn a new skill about selling in the retail. It is challenging, but very rewarding, having customer interaction and having, hearing the stories about how someone's going to paint a piece of furniture, or hearing the where they're going to use the furniture that they're buying from you. That's just it. That was truly just a pure joy for me, learning about all of those different things from, different life experiences with people. And when you're in a booth space, that's some of the things that I really missed. You also get to have lots of fun. I had so much fun decking out the front window and, decorating it all out for the holidays and making up the different vignettes and different displays. Was just so much fun to me, because it's always just creating. So you're just, each season you're just, coming up with the different events and different, I don't want to say parties, but different promotions and different things like that is really a lot of fun. Now the cons, you're in charge of all your own marketing. I have to go back, because when you're in a booth space, they do the marketing they do a lot of marketing for you. You still have to market yourself on social media, but the booth owner, draws people in by having the space themselves. They're putting out ads. They're the big building itself draws people in. As I said, having your own retail space is expensive. Retail, at least here in my area where there's a lot of foot traffic, is outrageous in my opinion. The other thing to know, at least here in Florida, your landlord doesn't do a whole lot for retail space. They may maintain the lawn and the parking lot and very little else. I learned very quickly that I would be liable for an AC going out if it was over $500 in repairs. I learned very quickly that other things, damages or whatnot, that would not be, something out of my control, that I would be responsible for. So look over your contract very closely, for one. But for two, just know that those are some of the things to kind of expect. The other thing is, like having a booth space, you're going to need to fill in between furniture sales. I sold a line of furniture paint, and that helped. Well, that paid my bills. It really did. And then I brought in candles, and I brought in other local, jams and jellies and honeys and things like that. Things that were local to the area that would make sense with the brand that you're trying to build. That can be a wonderful pro, and again, it's part of the fun of having that your own retail space and creating that store. But it's also a con, because you're then buying those things and having that overhead expense of putting that money forth and waiting for someone to come in and buy it. You're also in charge of all your own marketing, like all of it, and trying to figure out the best way to get the most bang for your buck, because you're most likely going to have a small space and a small business. And so you got to really try to, social media is fabulous, but it's ever changing. So trying to run a store and keep it staffed and keep it stocked with all the things, and paint your furniture and do your custom work and do your classes and all those things inside of your space, plus keep up with all the changes in the social media marketing world can be quite overwhelming. But again, it could be a positive as well. You might have someone that that is really good at it. You might have a relative, a daughter or a granddaughter, or someone that could help you with that. You're not going to be able to do it alone. So just remember that as well. That's a pro and a con. You're going to need help. And so that could be a pro, because then you get to do that business with someone else. But it's also a con, because that could be an expense as well. Now, the fifth way is selling your furniture online through online sources like Etsy or Cherish or eBay or Shopify. You can sell your pieces of furniture and then ship them across the country. So now your customer base is across the entire country, and you're not secluded to just your immediate area. So if you're maybe in a little village or a town, or I am in the very rural part of a bigger city, so selling online is a perfectly viable option. I explained to you before, I never ventured down this route because I just never could wrap my brain around the thought of someone actually buying a piece of furniture that they've never seen and paying to have it shipped across country. But people actually do it. There is a customer base for it, especially if you have higher end items. You have good quality brand names and whatnot. People are going to purchase those things for their space, because I don't know if y'all been out there trying to search for furniture. I never seem to be able to find exactly what I'm looking for. So if I had, endless income and was trying to find a piece that would fit in a particular space, I could see where people would have that shipped to them. And with that, you also can get higher prices. So my particular city does not get nearly the prices. I'm in Tallahassee, Florida. We don't nearly get the prices for furniture that, say, Atlanta gets or Jacksonville gets. It's just not, the market just isn't there for us. So to be able to ship to those places where the customer base is more likely to buy higher end furniture and pay a higher price is a bonus for you. So the con would be, you really have to have a very strong social media presence. You have to find shipping companies. You have to pay fees on those sites like eBay and Etsy and those types of things. So there is an overhead cost in that. Packing materials, things like that. You're going to need to pack it very well. You're also going to need to find a good shipping company that is reliable and not outrageous. So moving furniture can be tricky sometimes, especially painted surfaces. It takes special care to move those types of furniture or these older pieces of furniture. It does take extra care. So you just need to keep those things in mind, that there may be instances where things get damaged and you need to just be aware and be ready to deal with those things as they come up. Have some sort of practices in place. So the sixth way of making money by painting furniture is by being a social media influencer. And I know that term is a little peculiar, at least in my brain. I'm thinking that's the millennial, or that's the 20-year-old putting on makeup. But that's not exactly what it is anymore. You can show yourself painting these pieces and doing the projects, and you could even be, you possibly could be filming what you're doing as you're painting for other customers, or you could be painting what you're selling off of Facebook Marketplace, or you could be, any number of things. You're just filming it and creating that content for other people to watch. And in doing so, you create an audience. And then then you can get money from affiliate marketing. You could get money from, say, if you're on the platform like YouTube, you get AdSense money once you get a certain income. We're going to get to that in a second because we're growing, we're getting there. And then the other thing is you also could have I said social media. That could be places like YouTube. It could be Instagram and TikTok, Facebook. They actually have a partnership program as well, and that I've heard. I don't know the exact details, but I'm looking into it. The other thing is you could have a blog, and you could write a blog about the pieces of furniture that you're painting. Earn money on those links that you're putting into your blog, where people go and purchase things, and when they purchase, you get a percentage of that, or you also get like ad money when you put things on your blog. So there's several ways with that social media influencing. A con for that would be it's a lot more work than what it appears. You are having to show up and put yourself out there. You're going to have to show your face. You're going to have to talk to the camera. Even with a blog, video is really where it's at right now. So, or if you were, did blogging, you got to be able to write. That has to be a strong skill for you. There's also the fact that, like I said, with social media, everything keeps changing. So, companies change the way that they structure giving you money. Google changes their algorithms. YouTube changes their algorithms. Facebook and Instagram, they're over there saying you put a post out and nobody sees it, but yet it gets all these impressions. And anyhow, you just have to keep plugging and going and pushing through. You're not going to learn everything, and as soon as you learn it, it's going to change. You have to be flexible, but it is a very viable way of making an income without a whole lot of overhead expenses. And it's a very viable way of making an income without leaving your home. So if you have young children, or you have maybe an elderly parent that you're taking care of, or circumstances to where you can't leave your home, or you really don't want to work outside the home, it's a very viable option. Hence the reason why I'm here on YouTube. So the seventh way of, or seventh revenue stream, I should say, is brand partnerships. And the reason why I did this a little bit separate is because it is kind of, it takes a whole different skill set to negotiate with brands to get the notoriety of brands. That you would get that notoriety again through social media, YouTube, and blogs, things of that nature. And then brands would reach out to you, or you reach out to them, and you say, hey, I have this much of an audience and this much engagement, so could we do a partnership? And they do pay very well, and the creator economy is like exploding right now. So there's lots of money to be had with brand partnerships. It just does take a different skill set, and it is something I am learning on a daily basis. That a lot of companies just want to send you a product, which if it's something you need, that's awesome. But you're also putting that money and that time into creating that video that's promoting their business, and they're getting it for, pennies. Know that your time is worth money. Just remember that we're not doing this for free. They're not doing this for fun. This is a business, and this is an income source. So let them know that. Another way to make money painting furniture would be to teach classes. You could have smaller projects that they paint, and they learn a furniture painting skill, or they come and they bring a small piece of furniture and you take them through the entire process. You could do that in person, or you could do that online. So these things can interchange with each other. You could make a course online. You could have a small group online. You could have a membership online. You could send out a membership box to a group of people. You could overnight retreats, which is my dream, to have something by the beach that a bunch of creatives could get together and just create and let go and fill our creativity cup and our peace cup all the way up. That is really a dream of mine. But of course, a con to that is you have to know how to teach. You have to be able to learn to break down what you're doing and explain to someone else so they understand it. You also have to, if you did classes in person, the expenses of the materials. If you're doing small projects, you have the expense of those materials. Yes, you are going to get paid, but you also have to have them in advance. So a lot of times people don't pay to the last minute. And so then you may or may not be left with a bunch of product that you can't do anything with. So those are just some things that could happen. I pray that all your classes get sold out, but that doesn't always happen. There is an ebb and flow to that as well. And we're rolling in. We're getting to the end. The ninth way of making money painting furniture in 2024 would be markets or craft fairs or festivals. You could set up a booth temporarily for that weekend and bring all of your furniture out, and people buy a whole bunch of the furniture. It makes a lot of revenue, or it could not. You take the risk of there being bad weather, or it being a weekend when there is other things going on at the same time. It could be with markets, it's a numbers game. You have to do more. You can't just say, oh, I'm only doing this one market and I'm putting all of my eggs in that basket. Because what happens is, like I said, it could be an off weekend, it could be bad weather, it could be any number of things that people just aren't there to buy your furniture. And so you have to do more markets than just the one to be able to keep that as a sustainable revenue stream, if that makes sense. The other con is you need to have some sort of trailer or something to move all of that furniture. You also have to have the muscle to be able to move that furniture and then set it up inside the booth, and then be able to then break the booth back down again And it's as well as it's the same sort of thing as with the booth space in your own retail space. You have to have smaller items that will, someone can come in and pick up and leave. They love your stuff and they just want to have something that you've done. So you need to have something small that they can come in and pick up and take home with them. Now, the bonus is that it's one weekend, right? You're not going to a booth space and refilling it all the time. It's a lot of work, but in a short period of time. So, you're building up, painting all those pieces and getting them ready. You also have to have a place to store all those pieces of furniture. And then you get to the market and you could almost sell out of everything. It's a beautiful risk and a beautiful reward. It's just the name of the game with doing market. And the 10th way that you can make money painting furniture is by doing a large sale at your home. So you could open your garage up as a small store and have, a weekend, a quarter, or twice a year, do a huge sale. It'd be a great way of moving maybe some pieces that haven't been selling. You advertise the heck out of it. You're on your social media again. You're putting out signs. You're letting people know on all the yard sale places and all that there's a huge sale that's going to happen. And then you have that sale. Now, the awesome part is the overhead expense fairly low. It's just the cost of the pieces and your materials. You're in charge of how it's going to run. So you can dictate how it's going to look and where you're going to have it. And you could have a barn sale. You could have a garage sale. You may even want to have a portion of your home open where they come in and they see the pieces in an actual home, and that helps them sell as well. And then the cons would be you have people in your home. If you live in an area like mine where nobody comes to, it wouldn't be very viable. So again, you would be in charge of all the marketing. You would be doing all the work. I would suggest also getting some help. So you're going to need to pay someone to help you unless you have really, really, really nice relatives. But you're going to need some help with the customers that are coming through. But it's a great way to increase your client base. It's a great way to increase your customer base, to get more known in your community. It's a great way to also, you get all the profits because there's you're not paying someone booth space. You're not paying a market fee. You're not paying for a retail space, and you're having a sale right inside your home. So those are 10 ways that you can make money in 2024 painting furniture. So now it's time for the YouTube update. I gained 3 subscribers last week, 2 weeks. Yeah. Because you know why? I didn't get a video out last week, and that's okay. I am learning how to manage my time. I'm also learning how to manage my energy. I'm going through a lot of changes in my body right now, and I'm learning how to manage all of that. And that's okay. I'm just going to give myself some grace. I gave myself a goal of 2 videos a week, and I didn't get any out, but that's okay because now I'm getting some videos out. My schedule also changed, and I'm learning how to do things around that new schedule as well. So yeah, it just didn't happen, but that's okay. I am, however, up to 2,110 watched hours, which the goal, of course, is 500 subscribers and 3,000 watched hours for the first partnership that you can start with YouTube. So it's okay. We're just going to keep moving forward. I'm going to take advantage of when the energy is there and when the motivation is there and do as much as I can, like I am today. I'm batching several videos so that I have a few in the can, if you will, or, a few there that I could put together and put out when there are weeks when I don't have as much time or I don't have as much energy or my brain is all kinds of scrambled. So that's the update. We will do better next week and we'll get a few of these videos out. Next week, the video will be all about color. As you can tell, I love me some color, but I'm going to break down for you why you need to know some things about color and how to use it when you are painting furniture. See you again next week with another episode of the Behind the Scenes.